Hello my beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Jonal. The learning from the pros episode where we break down water got an immense support, the one with the friend got an immense support, and now we're breaking down Shadowburn. Personally, one of my favorite Genji players, a guy that I have learned so much for. He's far more of a methodical Genji. You won't see like that compared to like if you watch the water episode where every time water gets a dragon blade it looks like montage plays, and he does some very flashy, almost like Reddit plays. Shadowburn is far more methodical in the way he thinks, which makes it, for me at least, a little bit more of an interesting Genji breakdown. So, we'll be doing that today. Of course, liking the video, subscribing if you like this series, and so on. And of course, Shadowburn's his YouTube, where he has some fucking amazing clips, his stream, and his Twitter, of course, always will be linked down in the description, so hit him up, give him a follow, a subscribe, and whatever on those social media platforms to support an amazing Genji player. He, of course, plays for Paris Infernal. He used to play for Philadelphia Fusion. Dominate in the World Cup for Team Russia. He's just an all-around amazing Genji player. So what we'll be seeing here, he'll be playing defensively on which point Gibraltar. And what we will notice is how he plays, because it's a little bit different. He will start his playstyle, and Shadowburn is a very team-oriented player. That's one of the things you will notice at the first with him. And let's kind of note down the points that we want to take a look at. So one, he's playing very close, and he's playing close because of his team. And he's fighting for space and so on, but he's fighting more around his team, which is a fun way, because it looks almost like when Shadowburn plays, it's far more of a team-oriented playstyle compared to a solo, I'm just gonna pop off. He pops off individually, of course, but he plays far more for space, so he will hold an area that could be considered dangerous or less beneficial for him just because of his dive tanks. Just because he's like, okay, I want to follow up on my dive tanks when they engage something. So he plays far more like that. He has some very big, kind of big brain team plays as number 2 in the way that, again, he tries to communicate and listen to their comms, and he kind of calms back with them. He likes to find the right target, and he has very good ability usage. You will notice that specifically about how what targets he targets first in the situation and so on. And it's mostly is still the same kind of focus fire, which hopefully you guys can bring onto your rank games. And his ability usage, the way that he burns his dash, the way that he pops to deflect. There's very little ability wasting on him, where most of it is always kind of like textbook way of doing it. He dashes for pressure to bait out abilities. If not, then it's to get a kill, or he uses it to get out so he can, use it to kind of move away, which does follow the rules of dash, or the kind of quote-unquote rules of dash. He also has deflect, which he uses mostly to remove very powerful abilities, or what he likes to do is to use it to pressure an already Widowmaker. So if they pop walls, he tries to deflect back shots, which is another way of keeping pressure on him, even though it sometimes costs him his own ability. Now, number 4 is he's not very flashy. And that is what I like about him. That's what I think most people, because to mimic, like, say, Necro's playstyle or something like that, if you want to look like him, you gotta have some form of, like, really good, like, mechanics. And I don't think Shadowburn is not playing extremely flashy or, like, super fast on purpose because it's like, oh, I can't do it. It's more that he plays the game, in a smart way. It's not supposed to be flashy, it's supposed to be efficient, and that's what I personally like about his playstyle, and that's what I like to see in this VOD review. So he will start off, and he will actually play a little bit differently. He will play inside here, which is normally known as a bad position. Notice that this is so bridge control is very common to try to take in these elos, right? Because one, it denies wither pressure from the bridge. You can strike. It's a sort of a hub, right? You can attack. You can strike with the back line. You can strike front line. Meaning for dive, this is like the perfect setup, right? Your tanks are up here. Your tanks are set up here. Wherever they're set up, they will strike somewhere. Or further even over here, and he can attack the same area, so he can follow very easily without being pressured, right? So he's already closed the gap, right? Let's say there's a dive onto someone over here. He's this close compared to being way over here where he can't be in range. So that's why he plays it, but it's a risky position. Normally you want to either play back here with the door, so you have, you're poking, you got your escape, or you play this far forward to immediately take control over bridge, which also is a little bit risky, as, they can put tanks on bridge to actually chase you out, and then you're caught in here a little bit, right? Because there's no way of dashing out. If they take bridge control, there's no way for you to dash out. You can dash into the wall and hope you get saved. It's also easily pincered. If the enemy team takes control over this box and high ground, right? So they get this, which essentially give them the entire high ground control outside of blue box, right? They now have pincered you between 2 angles. But she still plays there because her team does it, which is a very interesting way of playing, and it works out very well for him. I just want to specify that if you play ranked and you play in the lower elos, standing here and playing in this area is known to be a very good feeding position, right? Because right now you're half-assing it. Like, you can't make it all the way over to here where the withers can be setting up, right? And at the same time, you can't get fast out, right? Like, I can't dash easily out of here. So normally you either play here where you can immediately duck cover and get out so you don't get pincered, right? So if you see the monkey coming, you can immediately, you know, start working here, right? You can take blue. Or you play this up and close to fight close here to deny Widowmakers or Hansels or Ashes or whatever they want to put in this high ground that's DPSs and pressure tanks, and of course then get access to the back line. While Shadowburn plays here and waits for his tanks to do some work and keeping pressure on. It's a very interesting way of playing, and it works very out. I just want to make sure that people got this. He plays very, very standard. In the way that he takes first here, of course, is that to try to control bridge, so he can help his dive tanks, right, which gives control over this area here, so he can control that area very easily. He then plays a little bit on this high ground here and tries to bounce between this and blue box, but as most happens, right, when the payload has moved too far and they have therefore claimed too much of the space, as a default, he resides back to blue box and he uses blue box. But instead of only doing blue box control, right, which normally is normal, right, where you, blue box of course is your hub, right, so you have control over down here, you know, everything is controlled via blue box, right? That's why it's such a powerful thing. You control the point and everything else. Majority of the high ground to like here is controlled by blue box, and the entire point, right? So all of this is hereby controlled by blue box. Even the entrance to server is controlled by blue box, right? And the entrances to server controlled by blue box, and the entrance to catwalk is controlled by blue box. So blue box is the most powerful position on this part of the map, and he plays that as most Genjis do. He does extend a little bit in here, mostly to just pressure this area, again, to allow for his dive and to deny Widow space, as he's very good at trying to deal with her. But he also gardens for flanks, which you will see where he tries to stop Traces for attacking his backline, which again rallies back to his playstyle of a team-oriented player. He plays far less. Like, him trying to guard this area for a Tracer is not a flashy play, it's not a fun play to watch, it's not a Reddit play, oh, he guarded for the Tracer. But it is a good thing because you force recall early by pressuring her, and that way she can't, of course, attack your backline without recall. So you put her out there to fight for 12 seconds, even though it does cost you some activeness. So he sometimes sacrifices team play, you know, his activeness for his team play. And let's really jump into him. So this is his YouTube channel. Go and like the video. Go and subscribe, of course, everybody. And let's really just start by watching him. It's very, very interesting. So he will start up here, right, doing some poking, hoping that he doesn't get sniped. Might get a little bit of scout, okay, so now he knows they have Zenyatta, okay, immobile backline, they have a Genji, they have a Hammond. So now he knows, okay, I didn't see a Winston, I didn't see a Diva, meaning control, like, for example, the normal thing for a lot of Winston players to do is to try to control this, right, because if you control this if you control box, then you can Tesla cannon most of these areas, right, and immediately you have denied this high ground, forcing them back to blue box, and over to, you know, the capture area of the point, right? So he knows that there's no Winston, at least he didn't spot a Winston, so okay, he knows that. He's gonna fall back here, and this is where I say normally you would rotate out all the way like he does here, and normally you stay in and fight around this area, and then you extend. So you fight here, and play here, and then sometimes you extend bridge to fight in this area, and then you go all the way, or you fall back to blue box. That's like the 3 spots that you normally play to allow, depending on how the enemy team is positioned accordingly, right? So if they're consistent, if they're you know, fighting far back here and your monkey wants to set up a dive, you of course want to be close to the bridge. If the enemy team is fighting over here, you either want to be bridge yourself or you want to play here. And if they're playing closer to, you know, the hill, so when they're exiting car wash here, right, then you want to start thinking about playing more blue box, as this space here will be controlled by the enemy team, and therefore you want to be blue box so you can pressure them, but also so you can deal with the fight that's going to happen on the payload and on the point, right? He's going to start here, and he's going to just play here, looking for some, extend a little bit, look for some poke, just stand stuff, right? Always being active as much as you can. That's a Hammond, right? Just like building blade and seeing what goes on. By him just standing here, this is like Genji 101 and general play 101. Remember, by him playing this far forward and with no tanks being here, this is denied. like decently, not the door exactly, but this seemingly denied, and the Sen is fucked. The Sen cannot push anymore, because if he does, Shadowburn will go for him, because there's no one to peel the Sen. So the Sen knows, if I extend, Shadowburn kills me. So by him just playing here and he's just looking, right, he's in a flexible position where he can do, again, he can strike practically any area on the map. From here, he can easily get to over here. He can easily get back to blue. So, right, so he's kind of in this middle seat. But at the same time, he's saying you want to push the payload, you know, closer to the ramp. I kill the Zenyatta if nobody peels him, right? So it's a very good position for him to be, where he's just, you know, keeping pressure and looking for an opportunity. He's not being greedy or pushing anything that he shouldn't be pushing. The monkey dive, he takes control over bridge again and rotates back a little bit, because there's going to happen, the dive happens over here. Right? And that's his first opportunity, right? So he hasn't been looking or been playing like super aggressively or pushing kills that he didn't need. He's been holding the ground, knowing that, okay, as long as I'm throwing the Sun, I'm winning this. So nothing, we're not losing this, so we're winning this essentially. He's gonna rotate here with his monkey, kind of tracking and looking, going for the kills, trying to help out his monkey, get low, and then D back, right? And again, it's very, very smooth, very, very good rotation, and you can kind of see the game sense that he understands what's going on the match flow, right? They pop walls, so he tries to deflect the Widow, right? And now he's just keeping a little bit of pressure here, where he's kind of like just trying to play here without getting sniped right now, as his deflect wasn't up, so he didn't need to peek anyone, right? Playing here again, and continuing just doing the same thing, right? Essentially saying that, again, he's not going to solo engage, he's just going to hold whatever space. They mine the high ground, so he's going to fall back to blue box, as that's essentially them losing that area, which you can see how it works for the Widow, but she gets a little bit more space. Going to play down in main, get a couple of kills, and have with his monkey, right? So notice that every single time that he is engaged, it's normally because the enemy team pushes into his area, he holds his space, they push into him, and at that point, he can start punishing, or his tanks will extend into someone and he will follow on that extension. That's when he plays. He doesn't really do his in-betweeners. He doesn't push solo or tries to do anything stupid. He just plays it nice and cool. He doesn't mind hiding from the Widowmaker, right? Because even though he hides up here behind his boxes, he's still got his space. He's still got his safety line. So he's still safe. He still has the space. He's just making sure that she cannot snipe. He's going to go here for a blade. Going to pop the deflect. Get the easy Ana kill thanks to some extra damage. The Zenyatta kill. Now he's actually going to get bursted, which is unlucky. Blame the ping is my advice on that Shadowburn. And now that he's dead, of course, the team is going to lose. There's no reason for us to watch him walk back to spawn. You don't learn a lot from that, as at least I have understood. Easily clean up on the Ashe, right? And it's just like the small thing. Like, Shadowburn is just overall just clean when he plays, which is like the good thing of watching him. He's super fucking clean. I want to replay this a little bit. He's super fucking clean without having to be like extremely flashy. Here it goes for the Hammond, right? And the Hammond gets barely out, and you can notice this, that a lot of people, especially towards Lauren, will be like, oh, the Hammond is anti and he's low, I'm gonna kill him. There's a threat here and there's a threat here. So he's gonna deal with these and not overextend, as he has his high ground now to his left. So he has his escape route. Chasing the Hammond is one pretty futile, as he's much faster. He could maybe force the kill, even though he doesn't have dash. However, instead he can pressure this, and he can not overextend, make sure that he doesn't feed, right? Which again is about the consistency of Shadowburn. He's gonna get slapped, the bomber's gonna come out and try to save him. As they try to burn him, he kind of fights, gets back out, right? Uses his dash nicely. Gets healed back up, and now you will see him, I think it's now, or maybe it's a little bit later, that he's just kind of holding this area, and I think that's now that he's going to start trying to guard for the trace. Yeah, he sees a trace down here, so notice that he will play here, even though this, right, his tanks are taking space, the enemy team is starting to push. You can even see the Hammond, you know, up here in the top left corner. You can see the Hammond there, so the enemy team is pushing, but he's denying the Tracer the space. Instead of pressuring the enemy team and, okay, maybe he can look for a kill, maybe he can respond to the dive, he's making sure that the Tracer doesn't assassinate his backline, which is not a very intuitive thing for a lot of DPS players to do, right? He's going to dash the Tracer and therefore force her to recall, stay down here, try to see if he can pressure. She's going to give a little bit of room. He's going to have to fight here and go back. It's a little bit of less intuitive, and it's kind of in his playstyle to do so, which is a fun way of looking at it. He's going to die here, unfortunately. As you can see, it cost him a couple of abilities. The deflect here, and this is kind of how this deflect onto the Genji did cost him quite a lot. First he traded a little bit of HP there, and now it's still not up. He's gonna peek, he's gonna repeat again. He's not gonna get healed right now, and now he's gonna peek up here where the tracer have already taken without deflect, and without deflect, there's not much you can do. If he had deflect there, he would most likely. So just him burning the deflect, almost a little bit reactive towards the Genji, not take too much poke, and then him not getting healed by his Ana cost him that, right? And that's kind of how you can kind of see how in these higher elos you get punished far more easier than in other elos, as the tracer probably already knew that, okay, he didn't have the flag. He doesn't have blade yet, so he's gonna just like try to farm it up, do his things, headshot some stuff, and we're gonna soon move over to second point, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna move on to second point now, as the tracer sticks the Ana, and Shadowburn is just gonna take this high ground to not feed, as there's no real reason for him to die now, so he's gonna try to do a little bit of damage, see the Hammond with full shield, and then just give space, deflect, see if he can get a kill onto the Widow. He can't, so again, he just hides. He just waits, hides, keeps as much space as possible. This is the important part again. If he gives... Let's move over to second here. Now, you can't see Spaceship because that banana is stupid, and if you turn on roofs, the entire mountainside appears. I don't even know why this would even be a thing. But if he gives... if he gives space, let's say that he ran all the way back to spawn, right? Then the Widowmaker would be allowed to set up Spaceship, the Genji would be allowed to push up, their tanks would be allowed to set up, and there would be no pressure here. So he holds further up, which is very important to continually do, because it's... There we go, roofs, right? Because by him holding this area, of course, he's denying that entire space for the Widowmaker, for the Genji, so that they have to fight for the areas of control. Right, so he's going to play here, and you will notice where, of course, will he be playing. It's very, very intuitive where he will be playing, because it follows the same pattern as always. He will be playing... he will be playing Spaceship, right, because it's a hub, so it's a general hub. He will be playing Spaceship, and he'll be playing left side of the map. Left side, because it's the better side, and the stronger side, and the more dominant side, right, as left side grants access to Mega Pack, so you can get healed here. There's a longer retreat area. It gives you an easier access, right? From here, you can get access to Spaceship. Left side, you can't get access to Spaceship without having a movement ability over across. And, of course, Spaceship, because it's controlling, being on Spaceship, that's a Spaceship now. Beautiful drawing. By controlled Spaceship, it's a hub, right? So you can attack any area from Spaceship and pressure most of it. And here, because if you're here, you deny these chokes, which is the part of this map that you want to abuse, is when the doors have closed here, you want to deny... Remember how this map is like attacking this map, but before you get like the payload over here, when the payload is like in this area here and you're fighting, there's 2 chokes there and 2 chokes there, right? High ground, low ground, and high ground, low ground. But essentially there's 2 sides with 2 very small doors that's easy to use as choke. First choke, plenty of high ground that he can stay on, plenty of cases and crates that he can use to climb up on and use as a wall area. And the same goes for this side, a high ground that he can use. And while this is a little bit more open, it's also a shooting gallery for his players and an easy area to control. So you want to abuse these chokes as your kind of your personal kind of like, okay, they're going to be funnel in here. Very predictable, easy spam. Very predictable, easy areas to dive with tanks, with dive tanks. And also like monkeys, like Winstons and Divas and so on, and also Hammonds for that matter. But also in general, it's just a good spot for Genji players to try to deny. And this is again why he takes this space, right? Because he immediately helps delete the Widowmaker. And so on, he is a little bit low, so I think he's waiting for heals. His tanks dive in, so he follows after. Notice again that his tanks goes, then he goes, right? So he lets his tank clear space, draw some aggro, draw some attention, then he swoops in. He gets the cleanup kills, and so on. And no need to fight the Hammond, right? There's no need for him to really duel the Hammond alone. The Hammond is stupid not to push him, so he traded a lot of health. He died, unfortunately, to Breno, the Genji. But again, he's fighting for space, but he's not taking ridiculous fights, right? There's no need for him to try to 1v1 on low ground a Hammond, right? Without already setting up his escape, right? Him setting up the escape to Spaceship to bridge didn't cost him anything. And it bought him, in case he was going to get low, it bought him a potential escape, even though he didn't manage to get it because he got bursted. Here's just doing a little bit of zoning. The Hammond tries to get out. He burst one, and again, notice the same thing. His monkey plays first, right? His monkey's on the point, denying space, whatever. He's punishing a little bit. He understands that, okay, this is taking too long time. I need to redistribute my attention over to the main group. My monkey goes in, the Tracer's focusing on the monkey, I can easily burn him. The next one is primal by the monkey, so he's already taking damage, so I can easily burn him. Now the Hammond is low, okay, because we knew he was low from before, and now we cleaned up the monkey, and that's how we killed all of those. Deflect onto the Widow shot, chase the Widow kill, no need to chase it any further. The Genji is here, so you can rather kill him, right? And again, notice how he's constantly just cycling his targets. Okay, these are easy, my team is already pushing these are already low, they're easy frags, I can just kill them, right? No need to do anything else, no need to be fancy about it. They are there, I can easily kill them. He's holding here, he's gonna set up a blade, so he's gonna climb a little bit and set up a blade, looking for the Widow. He saw the Widow on the right side, so he's gonna go for her. The Trace is gonna blink into it. It's a beautiful blade. Again, not very fancy, right? There's no need for him, right? So he notice again how he burns it. This is for everybody that every low elo Genji that spam shift because it's ordered a montage. Just notice how clean this is. Widowmaker cut dash, right? Because she was already low and he can finish her off, right? And so on, so he doesn't also get shot. He kills the Tracer by accident because of the combo. Right? Next up, dash to the Ana, rotate because you need to close the gap. Next up, go to Zen, try to dash onto Zen because you don't want to get shot. But besides that, just cut twice and he dies, right? So it's only dashing because you want to avoid the damage, you want to so on, so he doesn't get killed as easily. It's not about him just spamming shift because reasons, right? There's a reason behind his ability usage. And that's the important part to take out. Most of what Shadowburn does is, there's a very big reason for it, right? It's either to apply pressure or something similar, right? Here it was, again, you would say, okay, but he didn't, here's his Tracer, did you see burn blink? Okay, but there's no reason with the dasher, he can't see, he can't hit her, he won't hit her. But it's about dashing here to apply pressure, to deny the space, to get her off, right? That way you can force abilities, you can force up blinks, and help out the monkey a little bit, right? No need for him to chase a kill that he can't get, so he's gonna play a little bit high ground, right? See a couple of people in main, try to deny the space, try to kind of hold it. Not gonna work out for him. Their walls has been popping. This is very, very important. Notice this. Overtime teamfight is happening. He just stands still. Why? Walls have been popped. He doesn't have the flex. He doesn't have dash. He knows the Widow is probably somewhere like top right, one of these top areas. I'm not gonna draw anything in between there to make it look weird, right? So it's like, okay, why peek, right? My team is fighting right now. It goes as it goes. I need to make sure I don't die right now. So I'm waiting for my abilities. 1 second, I'll peek. 2 seconds, 1 second, now I got everything. Now I can start responding to this, right? So again, no need to try to like, oh, I gotta force this. He stays alive because he knows that as long as he's alive, he can actually carry. He can't carry from the graves. There's no need for him to overly aggressively try to feed anything, right? It's a very, very calm, very, very, methodical way of playing Genji, which I personally like watching. I think that this is one of the more enjoyable ways of watching Genji, where this is like, you can kind of see why he's a professional, why he's a tier 1 player, because it's a very methodical, broken down gameplay style. It's okay, I hold space, I wait for my tanks to take space. If they want to push into me and feed, great. If they want to peek me as tanks, great, that's played. But besides that, he's mostly playing for denying space and for setting up dives where, okay, where's my Winston gonna dive? Where's my tanks gonna push? Where's the enemy team gonna rotate into? I'll rotate accordingly, so I'm set up for that fight, so I'm ready. If an opportunity arises, there's no need for me to try to do like flashy, insane plays or anything like that. It's about my consistency. It's about the methodical gameplay. The same goes for his ability management. An amazing guy to watch, and I absolutely love it. And you should go and check out his social media down in the description below. As always, guys, if you want to hire me as a private coach, it's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Hit me up on our Discord server. That is linked down in the description, including my Twitter and my Twitch. I will actually stream and do coaching, Overwatch League breakdowns, whatnot, also playing games and so on, the 21st to the 23rd this month, from 2 p.m. Norwegian time, so 2 p.m. Norwegian time, to like probably like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m.-ish, right? So the 22nd, the 21st to the 23rd of this month, I will be doing those live streams, so follow me on Twitch. And as always, like the video, subscribe, and tell me down below, who do you want to see next? I see some Necros I've seen some Super Being, I've seen some people want me to do ML7. Who do you want me to break down next? As always, guys, I love you guys very much. Please take care, this is the positive. My name has been Jonal, and you guys keep the enemy in your crosshair.